Hey, what's up guys? How are you doing? This is a continuation of the last video that I went to the market. If you guys want to watch that video, click on the link in the description or click above. So here is the stash of everything that I got today. So I figured I'll do a unique content today. Let me put my hat to the back because this is serious business. I'm gonna do a mukbang style content today. And let's talk about politics. All right. So guys, real quick, if you guys haven't watched that video, I just went from here. I went to the market. I went to go get some fruits. And then when I got home, I had to go wash them, do all types of stuff. And pretty much these are the snacks that I came up with. I have a whole coconut here. And I have some roasted corn and some cooked corn. I bought papaya, pawpaw. And then the best oranges in the whole world. I love Nigerian oranges, so I got that as well. And then I got this Benin style pineapples that's so good. It always looks like not so yellow like whites, but it's so good and fresh. Anyway, so you guys please grab a bottle of wine, grab your own snack, pause the video, grab some crackers, grab whatever, and let's chat about politics today, in my opinion. So, first things first, this makes me so sad. I wanted to make sure that I participate in the Nigerian election this year. And now that I'm in Nigeria, I wanted to go get my voter's card. And what I realized is that they've actually shut down the process of getting a voter's card, registering for your voter's card. An election is not till November. We're in September now, so October, November, December. The election is like 3 to 4 months away. I don't know what's even normal in other countries. I was thinking that I am doing this. I was thinking that I'm not procrastinating by doing it in September, because usually I do things last minute, like 2 weeks before or a month before. So me trying to be proactive to doing it 3 to 4 months ahead. So long story short, unfortunately, I would not be able to vote in this election. Also, I wish they would let diasporans that are overseas vote as well, because there's absentee ballots that people do. Any Nigerian citizen should be able to vote in Nigeria. So I've already identified like 2 issues there. But anyways, so politics-wise, there's a lot of excitement going on. There's always a lot of excitement when there is time for like a leadership change. And we know that leadership is a common thing that every single person agrees on is what's holding us back in Nigeria and in Africa in general. Other people have leadership issues, but there's a little bit more tighter accountability system in place, whereas the accountability here is not as great or high. So today, I just want to sit down and chat with you guys. So in terms of the candidates, one thing that I've said for years, I don't know why, because it's just what I've seen. It's almost like when you're in the US, you've seen like all this older white presidents and you just want something different. So like in US, you're just like, we just want something different, and like, we just want to see what a black person would do. We wanted to see what a woman would do as a leader. And then we went through that phase in US. And in Nigeria, for me, I have always wondered what an Igbo person would do as a president. But back to back, it's always somebody from the north or a Yoruba person, yada, yada, yada. So I think that's very unique this year for the first time, where there's actually like a candidate that's on the front, that's front running in terms of the main people that are actually contesting for this election. I just said that randomly. I don't know. I've been saying that randomly over the last 2 years. So then I saw a picture of Peter Obi on the poster. This was before he was popular. And I was like, man, just the fact that he's Igbo, he got my vote. But that's when I didn't even know him at all. But then all of a sudden, 6 months later, I'm hearing all this hype about this guy, and then I decided to go watch a video about him. But again, I wasn't watching the video. I was out of anything, I'm just like, you know what, let me just kind of learn what this guy has to say. And wow, all the questions that they asked him and the way that he explained his history, his background, what he does. And I was like, holy crap, no wonder why a lot of people are excited about this guy, especially young people. So I wanted to know, what are you guys thinking of the presidential candidates? Again, I don't know much about him, honestly, but I just watched one video. And I was like, wow, this guy makes a lot of sense. But I don't know much about him. I don't even know if I like him. I don't know his background. I don't know what he's campaigning for. So yeah, and then we have other leading candidates, which is Mr. Tinubu, which a lot of people are kind of familiar with him from Lagos. He has a lot of different reputations of things happening. And we're talking about politics, and you see, guys, I'm not even eating. But so again, I honestly don't even know much about him either. So I'm trying to educate myself a little bit better on these candidates. And even if I cannot vote, I'm going to try my best to influence at least the type of results that people can get. And one thing that I'm learning, guys, and this has happened because I live in the US and a lot of you guys live in different countries, you can kind of see what other people are doing and what's happening in other countries. One thing that I know for a fact that I don't want people to make the mistake of is that regardless whether you vote Tinubu or Peter Obi or whoever, the change that people want to see cannot actually be made by one person, and it cannot be made drastically. So it's a collective effort of the whole citizen changing the way they behave within the system that actually changes a country. I've seen this happen in the US. A lot of changes are literally happening at the local level, like at the streets level, at the states level, at the region level. People are really campaigning for their local governments to do things. So a lot of those changes are happening. Now, hopefully, whatever leader that we get is able to influence a lot of people to make the changes that we want to see make in Nigeria. So whoever you guys vote for needs to be somebody that you believe would have the influence to change people's mindsets, change a lot of people's mindsets about how they operate within the country. Because the problems here, I know a lot of people talk about leadership, but for me, the problem is everywhere. The leader is a problem. The people at the bottom is a problem. The gatekeeper is a problem. It's a mindset thing. Everybody just operates selfishly for the most part. But I think the more we start operating from a place of community-oriented, like you're my brother, I'm your brother, you're my sister, let's build our community together, then we'll see the real change that we're asking for. Diasporas obviously have a big role to play. Number one, because they say you can't see the whole picture if you're in the frame. So number one, you're coming from outside, so you can see things very differently. You're exposed to the different ways people are doing things. So you can also bring your skills, your knowledge, your experience, all the stuff that you've developed in other countries, bring it to Nigeria as well. And even if you don't move to Nigeria, you can mentor people. You can conversate with someone that's in Nigeria and just try to figure out ways to help. So anyways, I wanted to make that point clear as we're thinking about this election. But the more that I'm reflecting on it, I'm like, you know what? There is a lot of changes that need to be made in Nigeria. And this changes, there's a lot of components. So what I'm going to be looking for is like, what are people running their campaign on mostly? Like, what is their biggest promise that they have a plan for? Like, for example, there are changes that people can make that would make a huge impact. So I think a lot of times we're focusing on small changes. So when I think of like, if we have a president and he's to change one thing, and that's what I want you guys to think about. If you vote for somebody Or what is the one thing? I know there's a million things to change in Nigeria, but what if there's one thing that you would like to see changed, like improve over the next 2, 3, 4 years? What would be that one thing that you feel like would make the biggest difference? And the more that I reflected on this, and I'm like, you know what? If there is one candidate that I would be looking for, it would be somebody that has a solid plan on power supply in Nigeria. So I'm like, okay, if they don't even they don't fix bad roads, they don't create jobs, they don't do a lot of these things, and if somebody just focuses on one thing, for me, I feel like if Nigeria has 24/7 power, electricity, uninterrupted power supply, Nigeria is going to be unstoppable. That naturally is going to create more jobs. It's going to increase productivity. It's just going to increase so much things. Like if we can figure out 24/7, businesses are going to do well. The cost of doing business is going to be lower. I feel like that's what I'm looking at. So as you guys are thinking of who to vote for, think of like, what is the number one thing that's most important to you that you feel like would make a big change? And which candidate? That's not only talking about it too, because when you hear these politicians, they're saying like, we'll give you roads, we'll give you lights, we'll give you this. They're just saying it. But I want you to think further on who actually has a plan. Like, how are you going to do it? And this is what I love when I watch the US debates. People are literally asking these guys like, do you have a plan? What is like your plan? So whoever you guys are watching that you feel like, okay, this guy is just not saying I'm going to do it, but he's also explaining how he is going to do it. I think somebody with a plan is already way ahead of the game. So anyways, that is my political chat with you guys today. Anyways, I see a lot of young people are very optimistic. It makes me happy because I've always thought that Nigerians are not at the point where they're desperate enough for change. Like they're at the point where they're not living a good lifestyle. They're suffering. They're tired of the bureaucracy, the leadership, of a lot of the things that happen. But I don't feel like we're hurt enough to where we're like going to take action towards change. So I'm hoping that maybe we have hit that tipping point. I know the NSARS movement was an enlightening. It showed that people were tired of being tired and they were willing to take action to do it. So I'm hoping that we take that energy and we use it to go and vote. So that way you vote and then that means you're taking an actual proactive direct action to see change. But if you're complaining and you just want to stay and complain, and that means you're not taking any action and you have no right to complain. So in US, this was like a big thing. I'm talking about US because I lived there. Obama got into president because a record number of young people voted. Social media was going crazy. Everybody was going crazy. And people actually took action. Vice versa, Donald Trump got into president because all the people that typically don't vote went and voted. So we had two completely unorthodox presidents in the last 2 terms in the US. And I think it was because there's an uprise of especially black people, record number of black people, because black people were tired of being discriminated against. They were tired of police brutality. They were tired of racism. They were tired of systemic racism. They were just tired of a lot of things. And it got to a point where it was like completely unacceptable. So the leaders in the black community started saying, enough is enough. You guys are complaining too much. Are you guys voting? So it's almost like if you didn't vote, it was almost like, what are you doing? Why are you not voting? So I'm hoping that we're there in Nigeria. Yeah, I just wanted to share my opinion. Anyways, guys, share your thoughts below. What do you think about the candidates? Do you think they're all frauds, the ones that are running now? Are you excited about the future of Nigeria? Just give me your general opinions. Do you have your voter's card? Are you willing to vote? What do you think about Mr. Tinubu? What do you think about Peter Obi? You guys feel free to share. I just want to hear your opinion. And lastly, if there's one thing that you would like to see, like absolute one change that you would like to see in Nigeria happen, I want you to comment underneath this video. I want to see generally what people think. One thing that you think you would like to see change in Nigeria. Thank you guys for sitting down with me and enjoying some of my fruits that I actually didn't take much time to eat. And lastly, guys, remember, it is your time to rise and let your light shine. Peace.